welcome at Coffee with Developers. Today with Scott Spence. He is DevRel Engineer at Storyblok, and he is a London Meetup organizer. Welcome, Scott. How are you?
Hello, Mark. I'm very well. Thanks for having me on, and it's a pleasure to be here.
So my first question is, like in your bio, you say that you're a London Meetup organizer, which sounds very cool. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the Svelte London Meetup organizer. I'm not the sole person who does it. I've got another two co-organizers who help organize and run the event. And we've been doing it for, I've been contributing since around November. I got quite involved with the Svelte community in around July last year, and I reached out to the organizers to ask if I could help out, and I've been helping out ever since, really. So yeah, we try to run it monthly.
And what are challenges you encountered organizing it? Like, what is something that is always a little bit tricky?
Currently getting a venue. We had like a long-running venue in the past, and due to COVID and current economic conditions, the place had to shut down. So we were left scrambling to try and get venues. Finding speakers, we keep like a GitHub repo for Svelte Society, and on there just ask people to create an issue, and then we manage it in a backlog. And then, ask them, say, hey, can you speak at this event? One of the most complicated things, actually, is it doesn't sound complicated, but it's having your audio like locally in a PA in a small room, let's say, with 20, 30 people, and being able to broadcast it on StreamYard.
Yeah, I imagine with the echo and depending on the size of the room, it is challenging. It sounds a job that I wouldn't want to have to do. All right, so you organize a Svelte meetup. So what is something about Svelte that you like so much?
It just brings back the joy of when you first started out web development. It's very simple and succinct. So with Svelte code, so for anyone who's watching doesn't know what Svelte is, it's a superset of HTML. So you can write your markup as you would in a .html file, except it's a .svelte file. There's also additional stuff which Svelte puts in there for you. So you have script tags. You can write declarative code directly into your script tags rather than imperative code like you would if you were just writing a vanilla .html file. So there's that. There's also the speed. When SvelteKit started using Vite, just the feedback loop you get when building something is instantaneous. So it's almost instantaneous, but it's just a joy to work with, and I've loved working with it since I started doing a lot of stuff with it back in 2021, around April 2021, and I've not looked back.
Thank you for that insight. Changing a little bit topics, you are, as I mentioned in the intro, you are a DevRel engineer for Storyblok. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do there at Storyblok?
So I'm a developer relations engineer at Storyblok, and currently I've been traveling quite a lot. I've been to Stockholm September for Svelte Summit. I was working on the booth with my colleagues there. Then this week I was in Oslo. The week before that I was in Sweden again for Nordic JS. So doing a fair bit of traveling at the moment, and helping spread the word about Storyblok to all the people at the events where we're attending. It's pretty good, but it's not just that as well. So we also help out with clients and customers, potential clients, customers. We do demos for them. And we also do like technical enablement sessions for partners who are using the products and building with Storyblok. So there's that. There's also documentation, and there's the SDKs as well. So there's work which needs to go into those.
Also, all that traveling, how do you recharge personally after something like that?
So a lot of the time it's the code, but now my sort of my job is to do is to do that. I just like to totally switch off now. So recently, just been like passively consuming content, watching TV. I've just got Apple TV. I'm a new iPhone owner after 10 years of being an Android user. And you get like a 3-month subscription with Apple TV. You know, do these little side projects when I get a chance in my spare time, just to reintroduce yourself to something again.
I totally get that. I do the same after I have a long week or long weeks just passively consuming content. So some people judge on that, I found, but I think it's still a very valid form of switching off.
Yeah, and it helps you come up with your own stuff you want to do as well.
All right, so let's come back a little bit again to the developer relations part. So you're a developer relations engineer, and I always see different definitions of DevRel everywhere. There's no really clear definition. It looks like for every company, it's a little bit different. Can you tell us a little bit what is your definition of what is developer relations?
So my definition would be just to be not the front line, but the layer between the product team and the user. So you are helping to understand and like rephrase a question which someone is having, and you can relay it back to the product team so they can help improve whatever the issue was. So there's a line between that as well. There's also developer advocacy, but that's advocating for the developer. So in the same instances where I said developer relations, if there are developers which are struggling with certain aspects of a product, it's much along the same lines. You try to gather as much information as you can, understand their viewpoint and what it is they're struggling with, and then you need to relay that back to the product team so they can better understand how to shape the product and also help with documentation in that regard. So
thanks, Scott. That was insightful. What would you say are the biggest challenges in DevRel? What is something you say, this is hard, and this is where I put a lot of effort in?
For me, I mentioned it earlier, the traveling. So it's like a double-edged sword for me, because I get to go to a new country. I get to meet new and exciting people from, the places where I visit, and I get to talk to them. So I find that super energizing, just to get different viewpoints, understand how people are using the product or a framework, and basically what they're doing. So that's awesome, and I get like an immense amount of energy from that. As I was saying, if you have this sort of high, and then obviously you get your crash as well. If it's over 2 days, like a conference, or 4 days even, you can see people visibly, the energy level is just like on the next day are a lot lower, and it's a hard thing to sustain. And I think I just mentioned I've just come back from 2 weeks of travel, 3 weeks, like with a couple of days stop in between. So it's that over a prolonged period of time. It's a bit draining, and it might just be my age, because I am quite old, as opposed to a lot of the other people in my team who are a lot younger, and I do see them traveling a lot more than me. Other stuff is just finding time to do things. So with all the traveling, obviously I need to do my job as well. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of stuff to sort of keep on top of as well.
Yeah, I totally get that. When I'm at the event, I'm super excited to be with everyone, to talk to everyone. But after a while, it's like, whoa, like I need to recharge.
Just trying to manage those energy levels is a challenge in itself as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. All right, again, back to the thing of DevRel itself. Do you think every developer is sort of made for that, or do you need a particular skill set in order to be good at it?
I think you'll see on Twitter when someone is, because like Twitter's the all-encompassing JavaScript universe for anything which is going on. But you will see people who help people a lot of time, share a lot of content, and have very insightful thoughts on things. A lot of the time, people will say to these individuals, why aren't you in developer relations? Because they're always helping someone. They've always got something thoughtful to say about a certain subject, let's say. And if that's how you are with people, then that's always going to be like a good position to get into. Around 2019, started to put a lot of stuff on my blog, and then started to record YouTube videos with content on it. And I just thought, help, because I was always making content for the person who is like 1 or 2 steps behind me, just so I'd literally work through an issue. I was like, great, this is great. I need to share how I did this, just to help the person behind me. So that's how I see it, is just to help people through content. That sounds really cheesy, but that's if that's what you like to do, then developer relations is a good field to go into. And yes, it is for everyone. Everyone, there shouldn't be gatekeeping for specific roles. It's just if you feel that you could do that on a full-time basis, and it's exactly what I want to do.
All right, and hanging on to that, my next question, what is then your best advice for someone that wants to get into developer relations, where to start, what to do, and to eventually end up there?
I think I just went through it, is just to help people produce content. If you have any local meetups in your area in like a subject you're interested in, speak to the organizers. Organizers always want speakers for the meetup, so you could get to doing like smaller speaking engagements that way. And just get yourself out there, start helping people. You don't have to be on Twitter. It does help. GitHub is becoming a really social platform now as well. I mean, it always was, but there's a lot more focus on it now.
I agree. So basically, it's be visible and contribute and try to help people, and it will eventually come to you by itself. So Scott, you work fully remote apart from the traveling, and how do you keep personal life and work life separate? Do you have some tricks you can share with the audience?
Yeah, sure. So for me, and a good one from Phil Hawksworth was just making sure you take your shoes off when you sit on the sofa. And that's like a good mental like trigger for me, just to say, that's it for today. So I do that, go upstairs, kick off my shoes, and then just zone out in front of the TV.
All right, Scott, what are things that you do to balance your work life? Do you have any interesting hobbies you want to share with us?
I do like to consume a lot of content which isn't web dev related. Recently, I've become sort of partially obsessed with watching like restoration videos. So this is where they just get this old piece of junk and they restore it. But at the moment, it's currently like wristwatch repairs, where it's like this guy will just have this banged up old watch, and it would literally take it completely to pieces. Wristwatch Revival, I think the YouTube channel is, and it would just take every little bit out, put it in a cleaning machine, put it all back together, and it will magically work. And it's just fascinating to me how this person can take all these little bits out and then put it all back together in one piece, and it'd be working again. So I really like enjoy watching that sort of stuff. Also like large scale engineering videos where like they're like making drive shafts for cruise ships and stuff like that. So I do like really like enjoy sort of just seeing how things like that are made. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds, the thing with the watch, it sounds very soothing, like watching, taking it apart, then cleaning it.
Yeah.
It sounds very satisfying, like cleaning it and then putting it back together.
Yeah, I
watching
mean,
those
it's
videos.
just, think of it just like as a step up from like the what are these ASMR videos where they're like cutting sand and and just stuff like that. But it's a bit more practical. You have something at the end of it, I guess.
Yes. All right, that's all for now. Scott, thanks a lot for your time and your answers. Thanks everyone for watching this video. And Scott, I will see you around, and thank you again.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Okay.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.